Siamo con Ryuichi Sakamoto e Stephen Nomura Schible per il documentario Coda. Come vi siete incontrati? Stephen, come hai convinto Ryuichi e come è nato il progetto?
I don't remember how we met and how it started. So maybe.
Sure. Yes. I guess I will try to answer that question as well as I can. In 2012, I actually saw Mr. Sakamoto at an event in New York, a grassroots event, and something just about the way he was. It was an event about the nuclear contamination in Japan. And I was surprised. I didn't know anything really. I was a fan. I was born and raised in Tokyo. I grew up there, and I knew about YMO, and of course, and I loved his music. But and when I was in film school, it was my dream to one day be able to work with him. Now I confess, but but I became busy. Life became difficult. I was out of school and I was very busy, and I kind of lost contact with Mr. Sakamoto's work starting around the mid-90s. And then suddenly, after Fukushima happened, I went to this event and I saw Mr. Sakamoto, and I saw that he was very serious and very concerned. And then my friends there, who were also filmmakers, told me that Mr. Sakamoto was going to start to have a concert event in Tokyo that summer, and that it was going to be an anti-nuclear concert, called No Nukes. And before that, I had worked on a music documentary with Eric Clapton before, and I thought, maybe something would be interesting. Maybe this could become a very meaningful film, in some way. And I first reached out through a mutual friend, and suggested we try to make a concert film.
Who was it?
Yeah,
Who?
Kazuko Shigyok-san, who's now managing our production, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then to make a long story short, that eventually became the documentary film idea. And I didn't think Mr. Sakamoto would say yes. I didn't think Mr. Sakamoto would want a documentary crew following him, because I knew he was more like a private, minimalist kind of person.
Yes.
But I think at the time, he was very, he still is, and I think in my eyes, as a true patriot, he really cared about what was happening in Japan. So I thought he reluctantly kind of let us start to film him, because as I believed at the time, somebody had to chronicle, what he was doing, and that he was so serious about what was happening. What happened in Japan, we can never return to life before Fukushima, unfortunately. I think in my life, I would always think of Japan before and after Fukushima. And so I felt that, Japan's most important music artist was that serious about the situation. So we should start filming. I suggested that we do, and for some reason he said yes, but I believe it was really initially because of that sort of, serious commitment to what he was doing. And eventually it became what the film became, little by little. But that was our start.
We had never talked about that. So this is the first time I heard the true motivation he had in the beginning. I didn't know. The reason I let him make this documentary was purely because of his personality. Somehow I didn't know about him before, but somehow I trusted him. And also just one documentary he did previously about Eric Clapton, and it was good. So simply I trusted. And also Japan at that time after Fukushima was a very crucial moment of our country. So I thought it would be a nice documentary, nice documents to look in the tradition of the country after Fukushima through my activities. And that's how it started.
Dopo le tragedie ambientali che hanno investito il Giappone e dopo il cancro, anche la tua musica sembra muoversi in una direzione più etica, soprattutto se la paragoniamo agli esordi col technopop quando suonavi nella Yellow Magic Orchestra.
Well, yeah, in this documentary Coda, yeah, you can see some footage of the 80s documentary, which I had makeup on my face, and you know, looking at that, I felt I was much more optimistic about technology. You know, I liked using computer and well, yeah, just I was much more optimistic than now. I cannot be that optimistic about technology anymore because this world right now is facing much more serious problems, lots of different problems, but I don't know how technology can solve or fix those problems right now. So.
Che rapporto hai con il cinema, visto che hai contribuito a così tante colonne sonore di film considerati dei capolavori?
Yeah, relationship with films, cinema. It has been getting more deeper and deeper, and as just the one viewer or just soundtrack composer, you know, I spend much more time thinking about cinema and the relationship cinema and music than before. So, you know, simply films, the influence of the films have been much bigger on me recently than before. I don't know, because I'm getting older, watching more movies than before, thinking about the films more.
Che racconti del tuo recente album, in particolare del corale ispirato a Bach? Nel film dici, ai tempi di Bach Nietzsche non era ancora nato e Dio era ancora vivo, eppure la tua esigenza di scriverne uno tuo è di oggi.
Well, I've been always interested in the kind of a melancholic side of Bach's music, and I simply like that side of Bach's music rather than very cheerful, optimistic side of Bach. And you know, that's exactly like Tarkovsky liked and used in his films. Of course, you know, the true reason Bach composed that very sad, melancholic music, I don't know the reason, but I just imagined now, but then, around the Bach's time, you know, human beings always have lots of problems, political, social, economical, and lots of problems. And I don't know, it's lucky or not, he believed God, really. He really prayed one by one, you know, when he wrote music. And we don't have that belief anymore. It's not that simple anymore. I don't know, it's better or worse, lucky or not. But I feel very strongly some connection with that melancholic side of Bach's music with me.
Come avete lavorato per mostrare il processo creativo e creare questo ritmo coinvolgente e poetico? Le decisioni di montaggio, su chi sono cadute?
No, thank you so much. I think, no, I mean, for one, I mean, Ryuichi has been very kind of supportive, and no, I can't thank him enough. His stance was always basically, it's your film, you deal with it. You know, what do you need? And I think I burdened him so much throughout the years. Too many questions, you know, so much filming. And he was always very generous. And one point of advice he gave me though, because I mean, you know, his career is so rich and there's so many different, you know, amazing parts to his life story and career that, you know, we had a hard time bringing down the length of the film. And he gave me just very brief advice, you know, you're making a portrait documentary, please don't make it long. So so that was it. Not you know, basically just that. And that actually helped us a lot. And then in terms of your specific question, the process, I mean, we interviewed Ryuichi as he was composing. And then we were receiving footage, but Ryuichi actually, like, his mind is like, he's like cooking in a kitchen with like 12 different dishes going on at the same time, and it all makes sense to him. But we would see fragments of songs coming together as the shooting continued, and we really had no idea what he was doing until he finished the album. And we heard the album for the first time in December, and we pre-edited. We had all kinds of different parts and pieces from the history, but really our editing didn't begin until we knew what he actually made. And we knew that our film was going to be released in November. We knew, so we had to finish the film by around now. We knew that the only international festival we could go to in time before we released the film was Venice. So it was really, really intense. But very interestingly, once we started to just trust Ryuichi's process, it was like putting a puzzle together. Once we started to see, you know, what songs do we have stories for? How did they come together? How can we relate to Ryuichi's history and his thinking through the story of these songs? Then our kind of picture started to come together. And it was really like the movie would tell us what it would accept and what it would reject. And we have all these amazing sequences that we just couldn't fit in, because the movie would just reject it, like, you know, organ transplant. You know, if it doesn't work, the movie would just tell us, like, it's a different part, you know, give up on it.
Yes, so, I was actually worried pretty much until recently how he could get all the elements together, you know, and to get the nice flow of the structure. And I was a bit worried about that.
Il rapporto col tuo paese è forte, ma anche New York ha giocato un ruolo fondamentale nella tua vita.
Yeah, he lives in New York, and I do too. I have lived in New York for 27 years now, such a long time. But I haven't become a New Yorker yet. I cannot be an American yet, maybe never. But I'm not a pure Japanese also. I'm totally in between, on the edge or on the border of something. You know. I like that. That's kind of my dream since I was a kid. You know, I really wanted to be a man who can live anywhere on this planet, like in Arctic or Antarctica or Africa or Brazil or anywhere. That was really my dream. So kind of close to that dream I've been doing.